Hello, this is the Provoked Prawn, and this is a video to compare two of my favourite wireless gaming headsets on PC, the Corsair HS80 and the Astro A50 Gen 4. These are two comparable headsets for a variety of reasons, the most important of which is comfort. Both of them are incredibly comfortable, and they are among the most comfortable headsets that I've tried on PC, and I would recommend them for that reason. But the HS80 is actually about half the price of the Astro A50, so I think it's worth pointing out the differences between them. Now, the Corsair HS80 isn't the flagship from Corsair, and yet it is my favourite headset that they have crafted so far. It's a wireless headset with a really interesting setup and really comfortable ear cups and really good audio too. Now, this comes with 50mm drivers that are capable between 20Hz and 40,000Hz frequency response, but give you up to 96kHz 24-bit audio when plugged in on PC. As you'll see from this footage, it also comes with a Dolby Atmos code that you can use on PC as well. So you have surround sound options, and you have wireless and wired connectivity as well. As you can see, the headset is also flexible with a really nice adjustment on the ear cups. It also has a flip to mute microphone, and I'll show you the capture quality of that later on because it's fantastic. Fairly understated design with some RGB lighting on the Corsair logo on the outside, and this floating headband setup is very similar to SteelSeries design on their headsets. It's interesting because it's also really a nice fit and really comfortable, and that headband sort of sits on your top of your head without putting plastic or any other nonsense up there, and so it results in a really comfortable design. The flip to mute microphone is interesting as well. It does give you side tone on PC when you've got Corsair's iCue software running, and I will note that you do need iCue in order to make the most of this headset. The Astro A50 Gen 4 has been my favourite for a long time. It is more expensive, but it's also an incredibly comfortable headset with great audio. It has 40mm drivers, so they're not as big, and it only goes up to 20,000Hz in terms of frequency response, so it's not quite as good in that way. However, it does also have Dolby Atmos included, and there are two variants of the Astro A50, one designed for Xbox, one for PlayStation. Please note, this review is done on PC though, so when we talk to you about what the experience is like there, you'll see it has a micro USB port on the underside, but it also has these little pins on the bottom, and the reason for that is docking capability. So this headset has about 15 hours of battery life, whereas the HS80 will give you about 20. But the bonus of the Astro A50 is that when you need to charge it, you can just drop it into the dock. So it has its own little dock base station that you can just put it into, and then it will charge back up. You can use it plugged in if you want to, but there are obviously no benefits of doing that, and compared to the HS80, which gives you a higher range of audio with 96kHz 24-bit on PC. But it does give you that charging convenience, which is obviously fantastic, and a really good setup which lets you know not only how much charge you've got in it, but also what mode you're on. So you can see there are 3 EQ settings that you can set in Astro's command center software, and you can switch between them with a button on the headset. There's also a Dolby surround sound option there, which is built into the headset, and you can get the Dolby Atmos code to use as well. On the back, you'll find there is a switch to go between PC and Xbox, charging port, optical in and out, and the micro USB port, which is really the only one you need when you're plugging it into PC. You will note there's also a 3.5mm auxiliary port, which is interesting because it means that you can plug in a 3.5mm device into it and then get the audio through into the headset that way. I like to plug my microphone into that, for example, so that I can monitor my external microphone, but you could plug a phone in or some other device. The HS80 by comparison doesn't have a 3.5mm connection, and there's no Bluetooth options on either of these headsets, so you only really have wireless or wired mode with the HS80. Here you can see a bit more of that floating headband design. Now, I did think that this headset was kind of small, but I didn't find it uncomfortable. I feel like my head's medium to large in size, and yeah, I didn't find any problems with this. You can adjust the size of the strap on the inside, but it's quite limited into terms of the overall length of what you can get out of it and how it will sit on the head. However, it is a lightweight and comfortable headset, and I really like this design. I think it works really well. Floating headband sits comfortably on top of your head without giving you any pressure. I will note that some people have said that the Astro A50 gives them problem on top of their head because of the design of that headband and the way the top sits. I haven't had that problem, but obviously it's going to vary from person to person. Now, the HS80, I said in the review, which I'll link to in the description, doesn't have removable ear cups, but it does actually. They do twist off. They're just a bit tricky. You have to twist and turn them in order to get them off. So it has removable ear cups. So the reason I wanted to compare these two headsets is the comfort of these two. So you can see they have a very similar design in terms of the ear cup material. It's a very soft velour-like finish, really soft cloth material. Now it's worth noting the size difference because they're quite similar in size depth. I measured them and they're roughly 2.5 inches across and 2 top to bottom and then 1 inch deep, whereas the Astro A50 is 2 and then 1.5 and then 1.5 deep. So the Astro A50s aren't as big in terms of the ear cup design. They're a bit shallower and not quite as large. However, I find both these ear cups to be remarkably comfortable. The Astro A50s also are held on with magnets, so it's really easy to take them off. And you can get a mod kit which includes faux leather ear cups and a top headband, so you can get that and then block out a lot more external noise. But I've always really preferred the sort of very soft material that comes with the Astro A50 as standard. Those ear cups are incredibly comfortable and a really nice setup. Now, I've done a video on this headset a year later after my initial review and talked about why it's still my favorite and why I keep using it. And I'll link to that in the description so you can see more about my opinions and find out more about what I like and don't like about the headset. But it is a very nice setup. Well, this also has a flip to mute microphone, and again I'll show you the capture quality of that in a minute. And also another interesting point is the design of the ear cups outer. So on one side you have these buttons for game and voice balance. So basically if you press the game button you'll hear more of the game audio, and if you press the voice you'll hear more of your friends talking in Discord, for example, and you can switch between those quite easily, so you can adjust the balance of that, as well as having the volume controls and the other buttons on the headset. So there's a power button, there's a button to go have the Dolby sound, or you can switch between the various EQ profiles. So it's really easy to do all of these things with easy access on the headset, and it's a bit more flexible than the HS80, which is quite limited. You need to adjust the EQ settings in Corsair's iCue software, or use the Dolby Atmos software in Windows to change the audio on that headset. You can have some controls though. For example, you can press and hold one of the buttons to turn the side tone on and off for the microphone, but you do need the iCue software installed and running in order to do that, which is one drawback that you might discover. So what you're seeing is two quite comparable headsets in a number of different ways. The Corsair HS80 is winning because it has bigger drivers and a better audio range and high quality, high res audio when plugged in on PC. But for me, the Astro A50 is still king because it not only has that convenient charging base station, but also the ability to plug in a 3.5mm connection, which you could go crazy and use a Bluetooth dongle with, or you can just plug in an external mic and other things. Also, the convenience of the charging base station can't be understated. But obviously being able to plug in and get better audio with the HS80 is appealing. And perhaps the headband design is more solid and will last longer over time, and also won't put unnecessary pressure on top of your head that some people complain about. And obviously the HS80 is more affordable as well, so it is a valid choice and a wonderful bit of kit, certainly one of my favorites. Now I'm going to show you what the mic differences are like. And here I am with the Corsair HS80 in wired mode on the head. You can see what it looks like there. And this is the capture quality of the microphone in that mode as well, which is really, really good. You'll note that the indicator on the end is white when it's in use, and if you flip it up, it goes red. And you also get an audible cue in the headset to let you know that it's muted and that the feedback is off. So there is some side tone through the microphone, and you can adjust the levels within Corsair's iCue software as well. I don't find it to be terribly loud, the side tone, unless you move the microphone really close to your mouth, which you can't really do because it just springs back out. It's quite springy. so it's not easy to adjust in. However, at this range it doesn't pick up pops and very easily, so that's obviously fantastic. I'll show you what the capture quality of the microphone's like while I'm typing. So I'm just typing in the background now, and you can see it does a good job of blocking out external noise from what I've seen and heard, and more importantly it does capture really good quality, really good microphone, a good price point, and all round fantastic. And here I am with the Astro A50 wireless. This is obviously the headset microphone now, so you can hear what the quality is like. It's obviously a bit more compressed than my usual microphone, and you will probably hear some of the sounds, obviously depending on where you put it, and obviously getting it close to your mouth results in more of that. But as you'll see, it's not a bad quality, and one thing I'm going to do now is I'm also going to type on the keyboard nearby so you can see. I also have my PC just to the right hand side of me, and the fans are going quite loudly right now, so you would certainly notice that if the microphone wasn't good enough to do it. You can adjust side tone levels and noise cancellation and such within Astro Command Center. But these are basically the default settings, and the quality is good enough, I think. It is very good in terms of the quality of the capture, and not a bad mic. You can obviously then just flip it up out of the way. There's a slight click at the top for push to mute, so it mutes nicely and is out of the way, and you're no longer capturing, and so it's not a problem. As you can see, it's also quite bendable, and you can move it into positions where it still works, but it's not going to be causing you issues if you're trying to have a drink or eating. So that's the Astro A50 mic. This has been the Provoked Prawn. Hope you found this video useful, interesting, hilarious, or otherwise. Take a look at these other videos that I think you might find interesting as well, and have a look at the description for links and other information you might find useful. Click that join button to see the benefits of being a member of my YouTube channel, and most importantly, have a great life.